What I'm noticing a lot with this timeline split and the Great Awakening and the New Earth emerging for those who specifically came to Earth to help in this shift, I'm noticing that a lot of you are experiencing or about to experience like being uprooted from where you are in your location, in your relationships, in your job, in your identity. I think the identity part of it is like one of the biggest. We have us on here who's being puppy in the background. Arla's laying down there. Duchess, you guys always love when I show you my Duchess. What did you do? Hello. And so the uprooted in your identity. I love the topic of identity. The book, hello sir. He's gonna start chewing on this bone now. Hopefully it's not too loud. The book, the identity shift, something about identity shifting. I should know what it is. If you put in the comments if you really want to know what it is, I will find it and I will put it in I will respond. So you have a choice of what you want to believe and who you want to be, right? Everything about your reality is, for the most part, up to you, except for some soul contracts that I believe were like you had to experience them, you had to move through them because that was like your agreement, that was your plan, that was your, on the other side you're like, yes, I will go through this. That's why sometimes it's like the answer just has not been available for you yet, or like for a while in that experience. But with the identity being uprooted, it's like, I love talking about how you can, in the book it talks about how you can like come up with a new identity, and like Sasha Fierce was Beyonce's. I'm gonna take it, baby. It's gonna be too loud. Sasha Fierce was Beyonce's alter ego that she came up with. Maybe it's alter ego effect. I think that's it. And then Marilyn Monroe was Norma something, and she came up with Marilyn Monroe. And it's an energy shift. So as soon as they were just like normal girls, like dealing with shyness and whatnot and stage fright, but they would shift into to their identity, and that would change everything. That would change their reality. You know, when you shift your field, you shift matter. Kobe Bryant was Black Mamba, I think was his alter ego that he would become on the court. And so, sorry, I have dog hair. And so we can do this, but it requires a lot of like, I'm shifting, right? And what I'm seeing right now with this timeline split is that I'm shifting isn't so necessary anymore. It's like I am now. And it's in this context of like shifting into Marilyn Monroe, shifting into Beyonce or Sasha Fierce. They were never shifting into someone else. They were always shifting into the truth, their highest truth, their limitless self, the version of them that had the confidence to go after the things that they desire. And it required, you know, moving through all that conditioning and all those beliefs of separateness and beliefs of lack and beliefs of unworthiness. But in the new earth, those things don't have much ground to survive anymore. If the natural resonance is the 5D, is the heart space, is the truth, then these illusions start to fall away. And so we're being uprooted from the illusion of our limited selves. Yeah, that's it there. Hold on, let me settle him. Okay, he settled himself pretty well. It's like my big baby who like weighs as much as me. He's such a good dog though. And so what can we expect with this? It's almost like there's like a stage of grief. I remember when I went through my chronic illness and I did a treatment. Settle, my child. You are a tame beast. Tame beast. Look at him right now. You're going to settle. Okay, so when I was healing from my chronic illness, when I finally reached a point, like through brain retraining, which I offer in pretty much all my courses, work with neuroplasticity, and so 21 Days to Regulate Healed is for chronic illness, but my other programs like sleep hypnosis can be for anything. Health, it's your dream life sleep hypnosis, and so health, abundance, freedom, purpose, travel, home, like all of it is programmed into your subconscious while you're sleeping, and the blocks unravel in your sleep. It's so powerful. It's by far my most popular program ever. So those are all linked below. All my programs are linked below. But when I started leaving that identity of being a sick person, a healing person, I had to like grieve for a while the version of me that I was no longer. And that was so strange to me because I was almost like, well, I've made this identity for myself, because I was also sharing my my health journey online. And so I was like, well, what do I even talk about now? Like, how do I just share about like traveling the world and doing healthy, happy things when people were following me for like healing hacks and treatment hacks and like talking about diet and like all this stuff? And that was all like illusion in my head. I'm sure many of those people would have do have enjoyed seeing my life changed into what it is now, but there was a part of me that had to let that version of me go and deal with all the thoughts that came up with that version of me coming to an end and stepping into the new identity. Because before, at that time, like this is a great example, because at that time when I was healing and I was doing all these coffee enemas and Epsom salt bath and sauna, like every single day, my whole life was revolved around detoxing because I was sick from toxic mold. And then of course, like with Lyme disease, there's also, you have to look at parasites, you have to look at heavy metals, you have to look at all these different things. And so I was constantly detoxing, constantly hyperfixated on my diet, constantly like treating all day long. If I wasn't answering customer service emails for my job, then I was treating and detoxing. And while I was doing those things, because they took time, I would be usually laying there and I would be trying to shift into the version of me who lives the life that I get to live now, making YouTube videos, making courses, teaching how I healed, how I've done the things, what I've learned, doing that learn, teach journey, being a service to others, traveling the world with my animal kingdom. Like I used to visualize this and I used to try and shift into this. And so it was a lot of that, like that energy. And then finally, when it actually became reality, it was no longer, it's so obvious, but it was no, and it seems obvious until you actually go through it. It's like, it's a lot for the brain to calibrate to. And so, yeah, then it finally became reality. And then, you know, while you're in it, you know, you're going through all these energetic shifts. That's why in the Dream Life Sleep Hypnosis, I talk about how you go through ascension symptoms, because your physical body, as you start changing your identity, you start like changing physically, like your cells start maybe radiating at a different frequency. Like your body has to jump into the new timeline and almost like fit through a little canal to be in the new timeline. So there's adjustments that happen energetically, and it's a journey, and no one can really tell you how to move through it. But it's kind of like, I was being shown this on my walk this morning, it's kind of like childbirth. Like the first birth I ever watched was Aslan being born. He was the first of his litter. So I was there for all of his brothers and sisters being born. But dog birth was amazing. It was fascinating. But then like a day later, I saw the first horse birth that I ever watched. And so that was incredible. I imagine it's similar to human birth, different of course, but it was just because the horses are so big, like the whole process was incredible. So we sat there for the whole birth, and I watched Maisie, this horse, go into this other form where her body just took over and knew exactly what to do, and the mind just knows exactly what to do. And if you've given birth before, you understand what this is like. And so that is what I see our bodies and our minds and our beings going through as we're adjusting now with this new earth that we're moving into, with the upgrades from 3i Atlas, with all the shifts on earth, with, you know, the just the great awakening, people starting to wake up, and the divine truth starting to come through more than ever, and like help being on its way, but already really here. Like, I really do feel that 3i Atlas has been downloading us and upgrading us with codes and messages from our brothers and sisters from other star systems, from our home planets, like places that we feel more at home. That's always an interesting topic to me, because I'm like, I don't know exactly what my home planet is, but I do feel that like I've spent time like with the Pleiadians and the Arcturians and the Andromedans. Like I feel a part of all of them. And some people I know are like, I'm Pleiadian, and some people are like, I'm Lyran. And I think that's so beautiful. But what I do see is that help has been on the way, and it has been upgrading us and putting us through this birthing canal. But also within that, we have been giving birth to our new life as well. And so birth, you know, is painful, but also at the same time, from what I understand from my friends who have given birth, is that it's painful, but at the same time, it's like, it's not painful like how you would normally experience pain, because it's almost like you go to these other dimensions. I've heard some people explain birth like going to like the beginning and end of time, and like going there and grabbing your baby and bringing them back through your body, and then like having these crazy, incredible journeys of birth. And so we've been talking about a lot recently how, you know, you might be experiencing the irritability, the sadness, the confusion, the pain, the heartbreak, the ending, the crumble, the void, all these things that all kind of go into birthing and being eventually, you know, while I think a part of that birthing journey, this was also being shown to me on my walk this morning, being part of that birthing journey, I think that a mother, like, her identity immediately shifts. One of my best friends who just gave birth recently, she said that when she had just given birth, she was laying in her in the hospital. You okay, puppy? She was laying in the hospital, and she was, you know, waiting for the nurses and all this stuff, and she felt like she could see herself moving through timelines. Like, the timeline that she was then becoming a part of was like catching up to her. Like, she was like shifting through time and space. And she's like, she's definitely stepped into like her psychic abilities and all this stuff, but like that's not a normal place for her to be an observation of. And so it was like a very profound experience for her. But that exact thing, like, so she was having a major, definite identity shift in that moment, and her time and reality was catching up to her new identity of being a mother, first time mother. And so as we're going through this ourselves, time and space are catching up to us, because we are becoming a brand new version of ourselves that we've never been before. And like, there is no like old timeline with this new version of yourself, pretty much. And so everything energetically within and around you is shifting. And that's happening on the collective, especially for those who came to Earth for this split right now. So if you feel that feeling of being uprooted, if you feel that feeling of going through birth yourself and having all these things happen, not in like a linear way, like you could be experiencing the crumble and then the void and then the chaos and then the confusion and then and it could go back and forth. It could be all over the place. That's normal. No birth is ever the same. This is such an interesting message. No birth is ever the same. Sometimes it's like, it's quick and easy. Sometimes it lasts, 48 hours. You never know. Sometimes there's complications, but it's always going to work out the way that it is meant to for your life. And in that, all that we can do right now is deeply surrender. For myself, I know this is definitely part of it, because I'm in Ireland. I'm trying to go into the next thing. I'm trying to get the van fixed. The van was supposed to be one thing. I brought it into the shop after thinking I was going to retire it, with like the potential of maybe still fixing it. They found that maybe it was a release bearing. It's not like a big deal. Then he took out the gearbox. It ended up not being that. He thinks it needs a new gearbox, which the gearbox is a very special gearbox because it's semi-automatic. And they're all saying like, these don't exist in Ireland, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, I create my reality. I'm going to find one. I found one actually through a guy that I randomly found when I was looking for a car instead of the van. And so it's all for full circle. Everything's working out. We just have to make sure that this gearbox is actually working because it's been sitting for a while. But there's been a lot of surrender in that, you know. I recorded a video yesterday that I don't know if I'm going to post it first or after this. It's a really emotional video. And so when you see that one, it'll explain a bit more. But I'm in a stage of grief right now, like a lot of grief, heavy grief. And I'm really grateful that I was able to sit down with this video right now and to move through that. And I'm trying to do it now before like my day really gets started because everything is very time sensitive right now, and I just don't know. I don't know when this thing's going to happen, and it's pretty much a terminal illness of somebody that I love, and so I'm just waiting for that news and trying to be present, trying to move through everything, and trying to be in deep surrender and in, you know, in a place of taking care of myself and asking what I need and moving through that moment by moment. And so I see you if you're going through this, and like you're, you know, part of me, like there, so we have parts work in internal family system. So there's a part of me that almost feels a little guilty, like trying to manifest my dream life when like my favorite person, yeah, is terminally ill and I'm grieving. And but there's another part of me that knows that I have to continue this work of doing my dream life sleep hypnosis at night, working on my subconscious, working on my creations, and like also taking care of myself and taking time when I need to, because I know that this person would want that for me. I know that I can show up best for myself and for those in my life if I'm taking care of myself. And you have permission to do this. You don't have to, you know, if you need to just like lay in bed for weeks and weeks and weeks, that's exactly what you need. For me, I'm finding that continuing to keep going and to keep creating and keep going on my walks, keep doing what I love to do, is supporting me in a challenging time. So I love you guys so much. We'll see which video goes first. But if you want to sign up for Dream Life Sleep Hypnosis or any of my other programs to support you in this timeline split, in this great awakening, I think now is a really, really, really great time to be doing this because everything is so amplified. The energies are so intense right now, especially right now with all the solar flares and everything happening through Atlas, still really close to Earth, and for, you know, until December, really. I don't know after December, but I know until December there is a lot of energy that can support you in doing these changes and rewiring your mind and stepping into your new identity and birthing this new life. So I think it's a great time to do this work. So it's all linked below if you want to join me there, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.